Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we are talking about a really cool part of older saxophone design, and that is a forked E-flat mechanism. So the forked E-flats are usually seen in small cages on the back side of a saxophone near the serial number. Usually it's a pad that has a cork that's wedged through it so that it doesn't move. But these keys have a very cool function in the instrument's performance, especially acting as a, alternate way to play your E-flat note. Now, I have this baritone in my hands that has this mechanism because it shows it differently, which is a really cool way to visualize what the mechanism does. So in your lower stack, you'll have your F, E, and D, but when you have a forked E-flat, there's a extra kind of tab hinge underneath the F-sharp mechanism that gives it an extra rod, and as you can see on this baritone, it's this extra key that's right here next to the D, and it moves alongside the F-sharp key independently of the rest. Normally you just kind of think of what's moving on this side, but now you have something balancing on the lower end. And it gives a nice, it's a soft E-flat. It's not quite as big as the rear tone holes, but it gives a really cool boost to your playing if you so need it. So I'm going to play a couple of rounds and I'll use just the forked E-flat this time. So I played that entire passage without using my pinky once, and there's a new dexterity that your fingers will form when you play around with an instrument that has this mechanism, because it's just one more alternate fingering that's built into the mechanism of the horn to keep it regulated the way that it does. So let's play a little bit and then I'll tell you about this horn. So this particular saxophone is what they call a Series 1 Aristocrat, made by the Buescher company in 1936. Now, this horn has its original lacquer, it still has its Norton springs, it has the snaps for the pads. This is in wonderful condition for its age. It's serial number 273704. And this particular saxophone has a fun story because it's had some pretty cool owners. So its current owner is a wonderful saxophonist named Jeff Kirk, who has an incredible story and many ties to the music industry through his path. And thank you, Jeff, for letting me borrow this saxophone today. Its previous owner was a man named H.P. Johnson, who was the baritonist and multiple woodwinds for the WSM Waking Crew, which was an early morning radio program that went on for decades in the Nashville area. And WSM is also the home of the Grand Ole Opry and other incredible programs. So this particular baritone has a very special part of a Nashville history, but it actually landed in Nashville via way of Jerry Mulligan, as the story goes. This was one of Jerry's horns, and he sold it to HB many, many moons ago, and the Buescher kind of came to be the Nashville Aristocrat of sorts. But this is a wonderful, wonderful Series 1. I think 1936 was a great year for these horns, and just about anyone who will play one will tell you the same. So let's keep listening to this beautiful Aristocrat and continue our discussion from there. Not much to say. It's a wonderful. The Nashville Aristocrat really shines forward. So I want to talk about the alternate kind of mechanism to this horn a little bit more, but I really just want to kind of show off some of the unique features that makes the Series 1 what it is. This early horn is not what the design ended up being, and I think because of that you have some unique parts to its sound. Split bell keys really balance out a tone in an instrument, and it's a very balanced weight when you play as well. So this kind of a Aristocrat has definitely that allure to many of the classical musicians, because you can get this really beautiful sweet core of sound and you have a keywork that just wants to run with it. I find that this instrument likes to play in those directions rather than kind of in the loud shouting style that many baritone players or maybe modern instruments are kind of designed for. There's a wonderful subtone that seems to kind of run the entire range of the instrument. So it's really a one of a kind in that regard. And it's just so much fun to play. Let's play a little bit more. So if you can hear the only E flat in that last note that I just played, that was one that clicked, because older saxophones don't have a bumper on the E flat guard. So you'll have this click, especially if you hit it kind of strong or fast, which a forked D flat can really eliminate. So say you're in a classical setting and you don't want the sound of your keys to potentially get in the way of a note, you could just lift up your middle finger and have this forked note that just lifts into it. And I'll play that version now. You don't worry about anything else except for just lifting a finger rather than pressing one down. So it's kind of this opposite way of playing the same note, but to have that kind of a feel is a really cool part of the expression. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this short discussion on an alternate E flat option, as well as the Nashville Aristocrats debut on the channel. And thank you so much for watching, and please like, share, and subscribe. It does really mean a lot to me, and I will look forward to continuing our discussions with you soon. Take care.